To stay healthy and to be immune is what everyone will be wishing for in the present scenario of COVID. For this, definitely medicines are important and precautionary measures like social distancing and personal hygiene is important. Equally important is a healthy diet. So, healthy diet is not just a balanced, nutritious diet containing these many calories of proteins, fats, vitamins, etc. In fact, the description of an ideal diet or a healthy diet according to Ayurveda is much beyond this. It includes selection of a right kind of food. So for selection, actually we need to look into a lot of parameters. For example, Deha Satmya is one. Every cell of our body has a memory of substances what our ancestors used to have. So when we consume the same kind of food, our body finds it easy to digest. But in case we are consuming something different, something totally new, what happens is in the stomach it might get digested and it might get absorbed also. You might not be feeling it that difficult to digest. But when it goes to the cellular level, what happens is cells are not familiar with the substance as of how to metabolize it and how to convert it into our body tissue. So then over and over when we start consuming the same kind of a new substance, this metabolism which is already sluggish, it leads to accumulation of metabolic waste. Over a period of time, these metabolic waste that gets accumulated, it is termed as ama according to Ayurveda. This is one reason for occurrence of many of the diseases like autoimmune conditions or even some of the skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, some of the allergies and even low immunity. So then you might be thinking, in that case, if we have to move to a new place and we have to obviously adjust to that place, so then how to do? So the answer is, first thing is you can introduce that substance little by little, the food of that area, little by little and gradually get adapted to it. You can say, for example, if you are staying in Tamil Nadu and you have been brought up in this Tamil Nadu traditional kind of food, and all of a sudden you have got a job in some of the Western countries and you need to move there. What you can do is you can consume one meal of the kind of Western food and the other 2 meals you can have the traditional kind of food. Gradually introduce the Western meal into your lifestyle. So over a period of 5 to 7 years you will get adapted to it. So this slow adaptation of the body, it also gives time for the body to understand how to metabolize it. This particular adaptation is termed as Okasatmya in Ayurveda. Next is Desha Satmya. Every geographical area has a peculiar quality and this influences us. So the crops actually which grow in this area, they have qualities opposite to the geographical area. So this is actually nature's own support for us so that we can sustain in that area. Say for example, in colder areas we do find tea plantations. So people in the colder areas, they generally have 4 to 5 servings of tea in a day to keep themselves warm. Similarly, fruits like apple, strawberry, cherry, all these things do find in colder areas. So people in hotter areas, if they consume more of these kind of fruits or if they consume the same kind of 4 to 5 servings of tea in a day, so definitely it will lead to increasing body heat, problems like gastritis or inflammations or any other problems due to excessive body heat. Fruits that generally grow in that area, say for example mangoes or melons, watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber kind of things. Similarly, tapioca, if you have heard, is generally considered to be a kind of staple food of Keralites. Actually, tapioca is not a native crop of Kerala. It is a native crop of Latin American countries. So historically, when people migrated from that area, they started cultivating tapioca in Kerala and in larger quantities, and people started consuming it a lot. Now when they started cultivating in this area, what happened is there started deposition of increased toxins in the plant. So when these tapioca is being consumed on a regular basis, this toxin, it started affecting the pancreas, leading to more number of diabetic cases in Kerala compared to what it was long before. So that is why a person has to consume food that naturally grows in that area. And the next is Kala Sapnya. There are basically 6 seasons according to Ayurveda, and for each season there are a particular diet regulation that has been mentioned. So that has to be followed according to the season. Particularly the crops that are growing in every season is important to be consumed. Like say for example mangoes, it is more available during the summer season, and during this season when we consume, we find that they are very tasty and the body is able to accept it readily. Now the same kind of mangoes, when we get imported in some other season and we are consuming it, so we find that taste wise also it won't be that satisfactory, and when we consume it does not suit to the body in the sense that we start getting gastric discomforts and all. That is why seasonal fruits are very important. Similarly for vegetables too. Now there are certain things that has to be avoided or restricted in certain seasons. Like in winter, especially what we say as the Shishira Rutu, that is in the months of November, mid-November to mid-January. Some of the gourd vegetables like bottle gourd, bitter gourd, all these things, and fenugreek and many other substances which are basically bitter and pungent as well as astringent in taste are not recommended during this season. Similarly, in rainy season, it is said that drumstick leaves are not good to be taken because they are said to have toxins in them during this season particularly. In this way, when we analyze thoroughly and schedule our food, then the diet becomes ideal for us.